And we are here on site, on location in New York City. So, good morning to you. That's why you see this city in my background here is we have Wake Up Call. We call it on the show Wake Up Call OTR. So it's a Wake Up Call OTR. That's the hashtag we use. Also, Wake Up Call on the road. That's what it stands for. So you can use hashtag Wake Up Call OTR, hashtag Wake Up Call on the road, or hashtag Wake Up Call everywhere. And we are so happy to be here with you in New York City, coming off of the Pinstripe Bowl, which I came down here to cover here where sports meets that thing called life, bringing upstate, downstate, and so happy to be here and really want to give big ups to my little brother Nico, and knowing that we got to spend some time together and get to be around him. And after the show today, we get to have a little bit of fun in the city before I head back up to Central and upstate New York. So very happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You know, Cafe Kubal is on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street. You'll also have an opportunity, and those are all in Syracuse. Big thanks to Ross telling me to have a great Friday show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you as always. Ross is like my unofficial official producer, always bringing me information, always sending out great stuff. So appreciate you, brother, and thanks for hanging out and always being there for me, and always just, you know, being an incredible friend and an incredible connection in the business world and in the sports world as well. So I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate you tremendously. A Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here with you, like I said, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You also find them by going to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners to their drive-through location, which is right by the airport. And you'll find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and make sure you head out there to their double-decker cafe where you can actually have your food and your drinks upstairs. That's where we broadcast from. I love that. You can look out amongst everything. There's beautiful windows and skylight to see outside, so make sure that you head out to Cafe Kubal today. For those of you out of town, like those of you here downstate, if you want some great coffee, I know there's a lot of places for you here downstate that you may go to, but I'll tell you that Cafe Kubal is definitely worth you paying attention to. So head out to Cafe Kubal online and you can order it and have it shipped right to your doorstep. That's cafekubal.com, cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure you do that and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. So with that being said, a lot of great things coming up here on today's broadcast inside of monpazpopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start the show off with the annoying moment of the week, as we always do on Fridays, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll get into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the LEAD acronym stands for. And our faith-based segment, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, is going to center today on the topic, Do Unto Others. And we'll talk about that around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then I'll announce my top dog of the week. What organization, what team, what individual is going to be honored as the top dog of the week this week? We'll find out. Proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then you see that Pinstripe Bowl logo. And like I said, I'm down here. Upstate is downstate in New York City because I had the wonderful opportunity of covering the Pinstripe Bowl. And I want to give my many, many thanks to Randy Levine, the entire Yankees organization, the Steinbrenner family, to Mark Holtzman, who oversees and is the executive director of the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, as well as to Bad Boy Mowers and to everyone that made this such an incredible event. I love the logo. I'm big on logos, and I love the logo, love the opportunity. I love that I could wake up this morning and say that I've interviewed the president of the New York Yankees, which, you know, shout out to you, Pop. My Pop Miller, my dad's dad, up in heaven, big Yankee fan. And I'm happy I got to do that for you and share that with you and for my dad too. So very excited to talk about the Pinstripe Bowl. I know Syracuse fans are a little bit down, but we'll get through it. We'll talk about it with Antwon Bailey, who played in the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, which is back in 2010. Syracuse played in the first ever Pinstripe Bowl. I wore the hat coming in to New York City wore this hat, this is the game that first ever Pinstripe Bowl game, and this was the game that Antwon Bailey was in with DeLon Carter up against Kansas State that they won 36-34. So Antwon will be joining me to talk about the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, his experience of it, being in New York City, Syracuse, and New York City's connection, and we'll talk about his thoughts on Sean Tucker opting out and guys deciding not to play because obviously that affected Syracuse. And we'll get into his thoughts on Sean Tucker overall as you pass the baton all throughout history from Antwon to Sean Tucker. And we'll get into his take on this 2022 Syracuse performance this time around in the Pinstripe Bowl. So a bunch of great stuff coming up. Where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And Ross said, Arson and Coke loves your show. Love it, brother. And Michael said, good morning. Good morning back to you, Michael. So a lot of great stuff coming up here. Clinton Elmore, the father of Chris Elmore, here on the broadcast with us this morning, watching and listening. Thank you to the Elmore family. I cannot thank you all enough. You guys are seriously terrific. Chris Elmore is one of my favorite people ever to come through Syracuse, football or not football. I hope Rhino and I stay in touch forever because I've always appreciated him. Love his smile, love his work, and I love the nickname. I think he should carry that, keep selling out that clothing line and doing great things with it. So hoping the best for Chris Elmore. Obviously, Sean Tucker is better with him. The whole team was better with him on the field. And so much love to Chris, and hopefully more to come with myself and Mr. Elmore. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we'll start the show off with the annoying moment of the week, like I had mentioned, and a big thanks to everybody that's watching and listening, no matter where you are. If you are on MixLR, Facebook.com, or YouTube.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. You can download the YouTube app and search Wake Up Call DT as one word. You can also download the MixLR app, which is live internet streaming radio worldwide, and look up Wake Up Call DT as well, and you could follow us there. And if you follow us on MixLR, you'll be emailed every single time the show goes live, and it makes it even easier for you. If it's not easy enough already, you can literally go to MixLR, the app, or MixLR.com, search Wake Up Call DT, click follow, and you can put in your email and be sent, and they don't spam you. They literally send you an email when I'm going live. So they'll send you an email and tell you, hey, Wake Up Call is live right now. Click to listen. And all you have to do is open your email, click the button, and there you are listening to the show. So make sure you do that today and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click that follow button to make it oh so much easier for you to be with us every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, to be with us beyond that, right? Because we continue to broadcast specials and other things that we do. So make sure you're connected with us whenever, wherever, however, as we are happy to be here with you from New York City today. And we were down here in October when I was pulling quadruple duty, having Comic Book Trails, Super Powered Pop, Do Diz with Dan, and Wake Up Call all here in New York City during New York Comic Con. So we've done this back in October. I can't believe that was more than 2 months ago because it was the beginning of October. And here we are at the end of December hanging out with you in New York City once again. So thanks for being with us as we get set to bring you the longest standing segment in Wake Up Call history, which is the annoying moment of the week. Let's bring you the annoying moment of the... I laugh because I never know where I'm going to go with this, but here it is, the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you... Is that for real? Are you kidding me? The annoying moment of the week. I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this. Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like. You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week for this week. Oh, boy, folks, the annoying moment of the week. Well, I would have to tell you my annoying moment of the week would be, there's a lot of great things that happen, and like I said, we always spin it to a positive. We always find a positive So, and Michael, I know you said some things in the comment section here of the forum, so we'll get to those. But my annoying moment of the week, I would probably have to say, and you're welcome, Clinton Elmore here, the father of Chris Elmore. You're welcome, to you and your family. You guys are incredible, just wonderful people, and I hope that we always stay in touch. I love that when Isaac Elford and I would do Tortora and Elford and do a lot of work together. Isaac's one of the good ones in the media, which is hard to come by. Him and I went to go see Black Panther, and as we were going in, the Elmore family was coming out, and I got to see Clinton face to face, which was really, really cool because we talked on social media for so long. So big shout out to the Elmore family. Can't tell you guys enough how much I appreciate you and all that you do. And God bless to each and every single one of you, truly. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all the good stuff. So, Michael, like I said, we'll get to what you were saying. But yeah, my annoying moment of the week, I could go to a lot of places. I think transparency. I think transparency and honesty, right, is an overarching thing, right? People need to be transparent, right? They need to be honest. And I feel like in today's world, people are all too okay with wasting time. Not their time, but wasting other people's time, right? You waste other people's time. You kind of like utilize people, kind of like milk in the fridge, right? It's like, I'm going to use a little bit now, and then I won't use it for a week or so, and then I'll use a little bit again, and then I'll use it right before it goes bad, and I feel like that's how sometimes people use people, right? They call you when they need something. They call you when they're lonely. They call you when they don't know who else to call. But they're not really dedicated to you. You're just that milk in the fridge right now. That's what you've become. That's what you are. And, I feel like I've kind of had an experience, and I don't know if it fully is this, and I don't want to say it is if it's not. But, like I talk about a lot on the show, I go out on dates. I'm single. I'm 37. Did I think I'd be single at 37? No, but I married the wrong person, and I had to get out of that, and I had to, rediscover myself and be good to myself and learn from my mistakes and move forward, and that takes a lot of time. So, and that was years ago. So, and it's no offense to her. She just didn't treat me well, and it wasn't good. And I made my mistakes too, and I know I worked a lot. I was building my business, and it was hard for me to find a balance between, all the work I was trying to do and trying to be there for her. And then as things got worse, I just threw myself more into my work because my work wasn't hurting me, but she was. So, I learned a lot from it. I learned how to balance better. I learned how to take care of the, house more. Not that I didn't, cook and clean and stuff. My mom always taught me to do that. But, just maybe appreciating things more and appreciating eating at the dinner table more. So I definitely learned how to be a better man. But, whether or not that happened in the relationship or not, I was not in the right situation. I was not with the right person. So, now having the opportunity to be in a better situation, this is a good thing. And now as you learn and you grow and you blossom and you move forward, it's time to learn these things and to learn to not be the milk in the back of the fridge. And I'm not going to say that this did happen, but, I went on a date recently here being single, and, went on a date with somebody who was like, hey, I just got out of a long-term relationship. I've been in this relationship for years. And I was like, how long ago? And they were like, it's fresh. It was like weeks ago. And I'm like, okay, so why are you even putting yourself on dating apps and in dating situations and meeting people? And you all know how much I love the apps. So, I was sitting here thinking to myself, why would you even be on this date right now if you're not mentally, emotionally capable at this moment of loving another human being? And and so we go on this date, and it was okay. It was okay. It was all right. We talked a lot. We talked a lot about different things and learned about each other, and that was good. And, I didn't jump the gun. I wasn't out there on the first day like, oh, I'm going to kiss this girl. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I was like, no, I just want to get to know her, talk to her. I've learned as I've grown older, just take it slow, take it easy. And, just getting to know somebody. And then, we had planned to see each other again. I was like, okay, it was fun. It was good. Let's see where this goes. And I'm the type of person that doesn't make a decision until I have enough information to make the decision. You know what I mean? And so I was like, let's see each other again. Let's see where this goes. She said, all right. And then she kind of fell off the face of the earth. And then she came back, but the initial part of the texting, and here's the thing too, in today's day and age, this is an annoying moment of every single week. Every week. Not just this week, but at the last week of 2022, but every week. These people that are like, you're like, oh, do you want to talk? And they're like, yeah, I want to talk. And I'm like, okay. You want to talk on the phone? And they're like, no, I want to text. And they'll text you for an hour or hours, but they can't talk on the phone. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Are you like in the witness protection program? Are you hiding underneath a barrel and like there's an axe murderer looking for you right now, so you can only text to me, but you can't get on the phone because if they hear your voice, then the axe murderer is going to find you? I don't know why so many people are afraid of the phone today. I had a friend that was like, I'm not a phone person. I'm just not a person with a phone. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm not a phone person. I just don't like phone calls. You should be grateful. You should be honored that I call you on the phone. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, sir, whatever the third. Thank you for that. I mean, what an idiot thing to say. But here we are, in 2022, and you're and like I said, I'm dating. And these people are, oh, I'm not a phone person. I'm just not a phone person. I don't do things on the phone. It's not my thing, And so here we are, we're texting, and I'm going to get to your comments. I see a lot of comments coming in. We'll get to them. Greg, you're laughing. I'd love to know what part of what I said made you laugh. So I do appreciate the crying emoji of laughter. So, but, so we're on this date, and like I said, it was all right. It was good. But then, everything ends, and we're texting. We're texting back and forth, and I'm going to, this isn't going to incriminate anybody, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to read you the text that I got. This is the text that I got. Okay. All right, here it is. Hey, Dan, I hope you had a nice... Oh, no, let me go back here. So... they said it was hard, like the holidays were hard or whatever, bumpy. So I said, why? And they said, just not having my other half. But I got through it. I'm surrounded by a great group of lovers and cheerleaders, and I'm better. Just not having my other half. So you're talking to the guy you just went on a date with, okay, who's 37 years old, and I didn't want to waste time when I was 10, let alone 37. So here we are. Good morning to Alan. I know Alan's going to flip out about Syracuse, but I know you are. Listen, you are entitled to your own opinion, and I know Alan was mad well before the Pinstripe Bowl, so I can only imagine. But just be respectful. That's my thing. 2 rules on the show. Be respectful, justify your opinion. Be respectful, justify your opinion. I don't like people personally attacking anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's another listener, another viewer, a coach, a player, me. Don't. And if you disrespect me, I'll never put you on the show again unless there's an apology and you want to actually be a human being. And I'm not saying that to Alan. I'm saying that to everybody. Because Alan's been, Alan has his opinions, and we have talked many, many times about a lot of different things. I appreciate you watching the show. And so definitely appreciate you being here. I know he's frustrated, though, and I know a lot of Syracuse fans are. Not a lot of Syracuse fans showed up to the game yesterday, by the way. The announced attendance was 31,131, and I feel like a lot of those people didn't come to the game. So that was sad to see. I was not happy with that. We need to show out better. I know it's cold as get out, but Syracuse fans need to show up. The ones that did, thank you. The ones that didn't, ridiculous. And Alan said, no, I'm more interested in your dating history. Alan, don't do that, bro. We're going to open up a can. So that can's a big old can. It's got a lot of stuff in it. When you open up those cans, those giant snakes popped out. Yeah, there's a lot more stuff in there. I like that everybody's on this thing like, yeah. So no, but this girl wrote me this thing yesterday, and she's like, sorry I fell off the face of the earth, but, I was having a tough time missing my better half. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm the guy you just went on a date with. You're talking to me about your ex-boyfriend and how you miss him and it was hard. Why are you giving me this information? Now, I'm happy you're giving me this information because it's telling me that this is probably a dead end, right? And people are like, probably. But, looking at this, why would you do that? So that's the annoying moment of the week for me is people that waste people's time. It's also people that can't talk on the phone, right? We texted and texted and texted and texted. Alan said next. And so, but it's true. It's so hard in today's world. Dating is annoying. Dating is a pain in the butt. It's not fun because there's a lot of things in society right now. There's women that are paying men back for sleeping with them and running away. I've never done that to a woman ever once in my life. So please don't pay me back for something I didn't do. So there's women trying to be on the top now, right? We're going to sleep with you and not call you back. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to want things like milk. We're going to take you like milk in the back of the fridge. We're going to drink you. We're going to throw you back. We might pick you up, put you back down. We might pick you up, drink you again, put you back, but we're never going to buy another carton of that milk, right? We're just going to play with that milk for a little while. Have some cereal, not have some cereal. And I'm not a man to play with. You know what I mean? And I think that growing up, I was taught, men are pigs and men are mean and you need to be better than other men out there, Daniel, because they're not respectful and they're not nice, they're not kind. And, I thought there were a lot of men out there that weren't doing nice things. But now I see it on both sides because I've experienced it. Women and men are both lethal in relationships, and people wonder why they don't have anybody. It's because you're either after one thing or you don't know how to talk to people or you don't want to talk to people. But I don't understand. And to reach out to me and say, hey, sorry I haven't talked to you in a while, and then talk with me on and off on text messages for hours and say, oh, I was missing my other half. Oh, I got a lot of people around me helping to build me up because he's not here anymore. Well, you know what? The greatest thing is for the guy that you're currently dating to hear about how hard it is to not be with the guy that you were dating. So that's an annoying moment of the week. Also an annoying moment of the week is when, like I said, people can't get on the phone. They can't get on the phone and talk to you. I thought that COVID taught us something, right? We couldn't see anybody. We couldn't go anywhere, so we started to FaceTime. People that didn't like talking on the phone, all of a sudden were talking on the phone. And now that we've gotten it back to some type of normalcy outside of the fact that we don't have plastic bags, and I'm looking at you, New York. But beyond that, as every other state does that I've been to, God bless you all. So you're all still free. But, we should have learned something from COVID. And I thought we did learn something from COVID, which was get on the phone, talk to people, go see people, spend time with people. Alan said, you're a great guy. Keep moving. Well, thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. I really do. That means a lot. And, but that's the thing about, in today's world, we should have learned something. Get on the phone, talk to somebody, FaceTime with people, go see somebody, right? You make it so hard. But to reach out to me and text me, why? Because you were lonely, maybe, right? Because you needed somebody, because you wanted to feel wanted. And I had ex-girlfriends do that. I had an ex-girlfriend hadn't talked to me in 11 years, reached out to me. And it was like, oh, did I make the right decision? Did I do this? Did I do that? She's a wife. She's got kids. Thank you, Alan. Said you like my sweatshirt. I got it at Witty Wicks. All of this Upstate 315 gear that I have, I don't partner with businesses to partner with businesses. I partner with businesses that I like, businesses that I shop at, places that I love to go. And Witty Wicks, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. Go out there if you're in upstate New York. If you're not, go to wittywicks.com. I'm telling you, the upstate apparel, the Syracuse stuff, they have Syracuse stuff, they have upstate New York, 315. I wear it all, I rock it all, because anybody that's ever listened to the show or watched the show or knows any of my work, you know that I put Central and upstate New York on my back. I'm proud of my hometown of Syracuse. And I can show that pride from my hometown on my chest and on my hat and all over my house by going to Witty Wicks. So go to Witty Wicks, show some love, wittywicks.com, support local, and go to 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, to Witty Wicks, which is right in front of Movie Tavern. Thank you. Michael said Dan Tortora is the man. Appreciate you, brother. That was my first nickname I ever got, right? It was Dan the Man when I was in kindergarten, I believe. So, like I said, I'll get to some of your comments here in just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, my annoying moment of the week is why do people waste people's time, right? And spot fillers. And I was talking about the ex of 11 years ago. She got in touch with me during COVID. She's like, oh, I just want to make sure you're okay. I was thinking about you. And I was like, we haven't talked in 11 years. You're a wife. You have children. And here she was just kind of reaching out like, oh, did I make the right decision? And did I do this and do that? And then after a couple weeks, she was gone. She was gone. Why? Because I think she needed attention. She wasn't getting attention from her husband. She needed attention from somebody else. So she reached out to a guy that she thought cared about her. Maybe she reached out to all of her exes. And, and I had a woman tell me, she's like, oh, I'm only on the dating app. I'm not on the dating app to date. I'm on the dating app because I need people to make me feel better about myself. So I just turn it on, I put pictures on, and once I get enough of my ego boosted, then I can get off the app. And I think that's ridiculous. I think it's insane. So, but that's dating today. It's so hard. And people tell you you're going to find your person, you're going to find the right one, she's going to come along, she's going to knock you off your feet. But my thing is like, where you at, lady? So, because I'm so tired of being the milk in the fridge, which I deserve so much more than that. Everybody does. And I really want to tell people a cautionary tale. Stop treating people the way you were treated if it was negative, right? If it was positive, then fine. Pay forward that positivity. But stop paying forward the negativity. Stop being negative to people. If some guy dated you and he cheated on you, or some girl dated you and she beat you, stop passing that on. Just stop passing it on. It's not worth it. You have to grow, you have to learn, you have to evolve, and it's going to lead perfectly into my segment that's coming up here for Lead, which is Do Unto Others today. So that is the annoying moment of the week. Be good to people, be kind. Don't reach out to people just because you want to feel better about yourself, you need attention, and stop treating people like milk in the back of the fridge. Peace out. Amen. Mic drop. I'm not going to throw this mic because I like it too much, but you know how I feel. Now, I do want to get to some of your questions before we take a step aside here. Let's see here. And some comments. Michael said, 7-6 season, where does Syracuse football go from here? Michael, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. You got to replace Michael Jones. You have to replace potentially Caleb Okechukwu. He's going to be announcing in a couple days, so stay tuned for that. He told me he's going to be announcing, and I'm going to let him do that. So we'll see. But you could be losing Caleb Okechukwu. We'll see. There's a 50-50 shot, right? And so you've already lost Steve Linton. So if you lose Caleb, you lose 2 out of 3 of your defensive linemen. You're going to lose Michael Jones, so you lose the quarterback of your defense in the middle of that defense at linebacker. You lost your 2 starting corners in Deuce Chestnut and Garrett Williams. Your starting running back in Sean Tucker. A bunch of your receivers that were supposed to help this team out. You're losing your best offensive lineman in Matt Bergeron at left tackle. So, where does the team go from here? We'll see. I got to look at the schedule, break down the schedule, the timing that they're playing certain teams and whatnot, and I'd be more than happy to assess it with you. But I don't know if it's going to be better than 7-6 next year. I'll tell you one thing: if coaching doesn't get better and decision making doesn't get better, and this team doesn't have guys that could step in and be effective right away, like some of these grad transfer, like a grad transfer and a transfer, underclassman transfer, I should say. If these guys can't make it happen on the offensive line right off the tip, then there's going to be some problems in Syracuse. So again, like the basketball team, they're going to rely on new faces, and Garrett Schrader's got to get better. I don't think he didn't look comfortable at all in the game yesterday. The throws were too low. They were too high. They were leaving them. So, there's a lot of things that need to change. But if you're going to ask me right now if Syracuse is going to be 7-6, better or worse than 7-6 next year, I would say worse. And I'm hoping that can change over time. But the feeling right now coming off of this game is they have a lot of work to do. And I think Dino would be crazy to not say that himself. And he did say that they need to get better. So Michael said, even if you're going to turn pro, the NCAA should make it a rule, no opt-out during bowl games. I do agree with that. I do agree that there should be an opt-out. There should be a clause with bowl games. And then he said, as Nick Saban said, bowl games only increase your value when it comes to the draft. Amen to that. Essentially, it's like, well, you quit on your team to do something personal for yourself. A coach can look at it that way, whether or not that's the truth. A coach could assess it that way. And my thing is, why would you not want to play? And I had this same thought that Jerome Smith shared on the show yesterday. And if you missed that special, you missed a lot. And you need to go back and watch it. It's on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. My special with Alec Lemon, my special with Jerome Smith, my special with Mackie McPherson. All of them were a part of both of the Pinstripe Bowls that Syracuse played in before this year of 2010 and 2012. All of them were on the team for both of those Pinstripe Bowl games, and you don't want to miss anything about that. It seems like it was a million years ago that you had a team gritty like those teams were in 2010 and 2012. So, and they played in the bowl games, and Jerome said, he goes, I could walk down the hallway and sprain my ankle, break my ankle, and that was exactly my thought on why not playing in the game. So I would play. I understand Sean Tucker. I understand, other guys that decide, Michael. I understand people saying, you know what, I'm not going to play in the game. I get it. I understand it. I respect it, right? I would play. I respect their decision, but I would play. So this isn't an attack on Michael or Sean Tucker. I like them both a lot, and I respect the heck out of those guys. I would play, and I think there should be a clause that if you're on the team and you're not injured, that you should be playing. I definitely think you should have to play in the bowl game before you can transfer, for sure. And I would love to see guys before they go to the NFL play in the bowl game as well. Michael said another year of Syracuse football mediocrity has come and gone. When will we as fans get a complete season of competition from start to finish? When things start to change, Michael, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Greg said, I'm here for the dating app stories. I love that. And he raised his hand. Love that. Yeah, the dating app stories are aplenty. I want to tell you something. I had a driver yesterday from Iran, and I know that I can make somebody laugh in Iran now. So we're continuing to take things internationally. I had a driver from Africa, tested some comedy on her, tested some comedy yesterday on a nice gentleman from Iran, and we had a good time. So they all appreciate the dating stories. So I think we need to take the show on the road, which we are right now in New York City. Michael said, losses will happen, but to lose your last 6 of the last 7 games, we as fans deserve a season of competition and successes. It seems like we always do well in the first half of the season, only have the second half of the season go into the tank. I would argue, Michael, that it's not necessarily the first half well and the second half bad. It's just that they don't play a complete season, whether that's, the first 4 games are good and the back 4 aren't, or the middle 5 are, but the rest aren't. There definitely is an issue here on the team. Michael said, will the Jags clinch their division? I hope so. The Jaguars right now are... It does help. My 2 teams helped each other, right? Jacksonville playing Dallas and me getting to see my Super Bowl firsthand right in front of my face and get to interview the guys and be a part of it and have it be a week before Christmas. So I got to celebrate that. And for all my friends that are Jewish, it was the first day of Hanukkah, so that was a cool celebration too. To see that Jaguars-Cowboys game was huge. To know the Cowboys clinched a playoff berth despite losing, and that Jaguars winning helped them go toward a playoff berth, that was great. And then my team helped my other team yesterday. Dallas Cowboys defeated, or I should say yesterday. I keep thinking today's a weekend. It's not. So it's all screwed up with the bowl game. But with Dallas beating Tennessee in Thursday Night Football, they just helped out the Jaguars even more. So if the Jaguars, I think this is how it stands, because I figured this out weeks ago. So the Jaguars are 7-8. They have not won the division yet, to answer your question, Michael. Will they win the division? Well, they're in the driver's seat. So Jacksonville's got 2 games left. They got a game this weekend on Sunday against the Texans. And then they have the Titans at home, which, God willing, I'll be on site on location for that, as I've been on site on location for the majority of the last 12 years. So Jacksonville's 7-8 right now. Tennessee losing to Dallas is 7-9. So if Jacksonville wins and they're 8-8, then that would put them in a situation where I believe they still would have to beat Tennessee, because they have the tiebreaker over Tennessee right now head-to-head. But if Tennessee were to beat Jacksonville, then they both be 8-9, and then Jacksonville could potentially still not be in. So Jacksonville, I believe, it helps that Tennessee lost to Dallas and is 7-9. But it still sticks with if Jacksonville goes 8-9 and Tennessee goes 8-9, and they both have a win against each other, then that gets a little bit dicey. But if Jacksonville wins out, they're in. That's what it's been. Ever since they beat Dallas in my Super Bowl, ever since that happened, they were in control of their destiny. Win the last 3 games, you're in no matter what. You win the division, you're in the playoffs, you get a home playoff game to start it off. That's always been the case in these last 3 weeks after beating Dallas. So I would say just win, you're in. Go 9-8, there's nothing Tennessee can do. If Jacksonville beats Houston, that's great. And then they're 8-8. And then if they beat Tennessee, then, that's the silencer. So the best thing for Jacksonville to do is to win these last 2 games and get in. and they will if that happens. Who are my playoff teams from the AFC? We'll do that quick before we jump into lead here. My playoff teams from the AFC, well, obviously Buffalo. I said in the beginning of the season that I thought Buffalo or Kansas City had the shot to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC. That was my preseason prediction. I said Buffalo, and then I said, well, I still think Kansas City, but I don't know if I said Tennessee or not, I meant Kansas City. But Buffalo and Kansas City were the 2 teams that I said had the best shot to get from the AFC in the preseason prediction. And I was leaning more on the side of Buffalo, wanting to see that happen. So right now, Buffalo's in first place. What other teams, I'm not surprised that the Chargers are in it. I'm not surprised the Ravens are in it. I'm not surprised the Bengals are. I was wanted the Bengals to be in it. They were in the Super Bowl last year. So I am surprised that the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets are still in the hunt. And I'm very surprised Jacksonville's still in the hunt. So, and then of the teams that are eliminated, I thought Denver would be better. I thought they could be a playoff team. And, Cleveland constantly underperforms, and Houston's not that great of a team. So, yeah, I would say my biggest surprises are probably the rest of the AFC East, not named Buffalo, and Jacksonville are my surprises. I said if Jacksonville went 7-10 this season, I would consider that a good season, and they've already won 7. And now I want 9. So, and then I want a 10th in the playoffs and then go from there. Mike said, I'm hoping for a Buffalo-Philly Super Bowl. Yeah, that'd be a cold Super Bowl, man. That would be a cold Super Bowl. And so, yeah, I think there's some great teams out there. I think it's also really interesting in the NFC that if the playoffs happen today, every single team in the NFC East would make the playoffs. 100% of the NFC East. All 4 teams would take up 4 out of 7 spots. It's crazy to me. So really, really cool, though. Again, it's insane, right? It's insane, but it's really cool, and sports makes these stories all the time. You just gotta look for them and pay attention when they happen. In Major League Baseball, the East divisions were the best divisions in baseball. And as far as sending teams to the playoffs and competition and all that, the AL East and the NL East going into the postseason. And right now for the NFL, in the same season, the best divisions are the East divisions, with all of the NFC East teams alive for the playoffs and all of the AFC East teams alive still for the playoffs with 2 weeks to go, which I think is fantastic. So the East is holding up well, and I love that because I'm a proud Eastern boy, right? As I grew up in the Northeast. So good stuff for that. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll bring you lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. You heard my annoying moment of the week, and I'm sure that I'll have more annoying dating stories for you. There's so many of them, they'll never get old, and they're just here. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll come back with lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. A perfect segue once again, as they always seem to pair together so well by the grace of God. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, with the end of that leading perfectly into lead today. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, all inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, as upstate is downstate. Wake Up Call is in New York City. Hashtag WakeUpCallOTR, which stands for On the Road. We'll be back right after this fast break from our fantastic partners in Central and Upstate New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we are on the road in New York City. Upstate is downstate. And if you like what I'm wearing, like Alan said, love this here, you can go and get your Upstate gear. You can get your Upstate, your Syracuse, all of the wonderful stuff to support Central and Upstate New York and the 315 by going to Witty Wicks on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. You know them for their candles, but they have so many things. Great stuff for men, women, kids. I did the majority of my Christmas shopping at Witty Wicks, like more than 50% of it at Witty Wicks this year, buying for like 8 to 10 people. So there's something for everybody there, and the Upstate stuff is great. They have Upstate signs. They have signs for your towns and your cities you come from. They have 315 hats and signs and Upstate hats and all that. So if you want to support and show that and love that and send it to people, maybe you have family that moved out to California or Florida or Texas or wherever they may be living today, and you know, they proudly support the 315. You can shoot them over some gear by going to wittywicks.com and shipping it over, or you can go to, if you're in the community, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, to Witty Wicks and show your support for the local community. And as always, I greatly appreciate that, and I know they do too. We're here inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. Corner Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners, in their drive-through location right by the airport in North Syracuse. And you could find them on 343 Fayette Street at the Manlius Welcome Center is what I call it. It's a giant brown building where all roads converge into Manlius. You can't miss it. Inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com is what's poppin'. For those of you watching and listening on MixLR.com, Facebook.com, and YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, all over the world, we're jumping into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. And so I'm very excited for this. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And Nick just asked us a question. By the way, Nick is somebody that I've appreciated for many, many years. So a big shout out to you, Nick, and thank you so much for watching and listening and supporting my show and what I do. I appreciate you tremendously. And, you know, I've always loved you and your family. So many thanks to you and much appreciation. It means the world to me to grow up as a little kid, and Nick worked with my dad, and now to be a grown man and on his own, tapping in and listening to the show. I appreciate that so much. So thank you, Nick, for that. It means the world to me. So it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Today's topic for LEAD, and LEAD, the acronym Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver that I created right before the pandemic, and I blame God for that because the idea came to my mind December of 2019. I started it, and the pandemic hit America in the early part of 2020, and it was like the perfect thing, right? Learn, evolve, ad-lib, deliver. So that is the segment, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Head out to either one of those locations in Central New York every single day of the week, except for Sunday, because they are closed on Sundays. And if you're getting a peppermint shake, make sure you save me 1 or 2 or 12, because they are my favorite, one of my favorite shakes in the entire world. Today's topic is do unto others, and it leads into, Nick, your question here. Nick said, I may have missed this, but what are your thoughts on Derek Carr leaving the Raiders? Well, my thoughts on this are, let's see what happens, right? You know, this is the thing about grown people, right? We're supposed to be an example to the world. We're supposed to be an example to our children and the world's children, right? We're supposed to set a good example. Well, I don't know Derek Carr personally. And, you talk about Marcus Mariota, right? He got benched for Desmond Ridder, and he allegedly walked away from the team, right? So, what are my thoughts on these? So I'm going to take it from these examples of Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr, and I'm going to build a bigger picture. We're supposed to do unto others as we would have done unto ourselves. So this, as the annoying moment of the week did, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, the question from Nick led perfectly into lead as well. Do unto others. What do you want somebody to walk out on you? Okay, now things don't always go your way. And when you walk out like a child, it's got a bad connotation to it. Now, what does it say to your team, especially when you're the quarterback, because you're the leader of the offense, and in a lot of cases, the quarterback is the leader of the entire team and the head coach on the field and in the locker room. When you leave your team, and I'm using these as an example because I'm not going to speak for Marcus Mariota or Derek Carr because I would not ever want somebody to speak for me. I'm just going to use the example. If they did, in fact, walk away from the team, right, and they're not coming to practice and all that, what that shows you is that you're a poor sport. It shows that you're not team-oriented. It shows that it's always been about you. Now, I'll put it to you like this. Did I want to get benched when I played basketball? Did I want my coach to put me on the bench? Heck no. Who the heck wants to ride the hardwood? Nobody. So, but when I was put on the bench, I didn't quit my team. I came to practice. I practiced every day. I kept trying to show my coach. I got to a point where I realized he wasn't looking or paying attention. He was never going to play me, even if I did a million things right. There was one day I hit like 8 threes in a row, and I was like 7 of 8 from 3 or something like that. And I still remember I was on the right wing just shooting threes right in front of his face. And he was talking to somebody, he wasn't even paying attention, and I was trying to get his attention, and I think he actually turned sideways or turned his back to me while I was trying to get his attention. And, to this day, I consider him the worst coach I've ever had in the history of basketball because he was a jerk. And, and it's like you have to forgive that and you have to move forward from it. He was a coach that now, and this is where I say I don't know the whole situation because I came to practice. He didn't play me, I came to practice. He didn't respect me, I came to practice. He didn't watch me practice, I came to practice. I came to practice, came to practice, came to practice, came to practice. He kicked me off the team after leaning into me, going nose to nose with me in the locker room, disrespecting me, swearing about me to my father, and kicking me off the team. And then called me and asked me why I didn't come to practice. I said, you kicked me off the team. He's like, yeah, but I thought you'd still show up for practice. I was like, that doesn't even make any logical sense. And then he's like, well, I really need you at practice. You're a good morale guy. And I was like, well, you should have thought about that when you never played me and didn't. How am I a good morale guy? How am I good for this team when you never let me be a part of this team? By the way, for those of you wondering what's behind me here, it says WakeUpCallOTR. So, but yeah, I mean, I look back on that and I never, when I got benched, not even got benched, when I was just like started on the bench and stayed on the bench and, no matter what I did, I felt like I wasn't going to get out there. I never quit on my team because I love my brothers, right? I still love my brothers. I would never play for that coach again, but I would suit up and play basketball with the guys that I had on that team any day. I do it right now. I was talking about it a couple days ago. I was like, God, I miss being with those guys. Because I feel like we would have been like the Mighty Ducks, right? The people you didn't think were going to win, but we banded together and we won a bunch of stuff. I believe in that. And I love my brothers, and I never quit on them. So I think if you get benched and you leave the team, now, and again, it depends on what the conversation was, right? Did the Raiders say, hey, we're better off if you step away because you're volatile right now? Did Derek Carr stamp his foot and say, I'm the starter, boo-hoo me? Those are all questions that need to be answered, and we're not privy to those discussions because we are not the Raiders organization, nor are we Derek Carr. I think if Derek Carr, I'm going to talk in hypotheticals because we don't know. If I'm Derek Carr, and I don't trust other people's sources, if they're not my sources, and people get pissed off when you write sources say, and I'm going to say this once and for all, and I want people to leave me alone about this. If I write sources tell me, they are my sources. They are people that I trust. There's something that has been vetted. I haven't just thrown it out there at the wall and hoped that it sticks. So if I ever write sources, they are my sources. They are my first connection sources. They're not like Bob told Jill, told Stacy, told Steve, and I don't know anybody but Steve, okay? My sources, when I write sources, say they're my sources. Stop asking me for those sources and stop telling me it's not credible. Because have any of those stories come up as not credible? I broke a bunch of stories last summer. Didn't get credit for them. People bashing me, demanding to know my sources, and saying that I made it up. When I say sources say, number one, they are my sources. Number two, I can't tell you because they wouldn't be a source anymore. That's what people don't understand. They want to know who your sources are, but if you ever reveal the name of the source, they're not your source anymore. The reason why you write sources is to protect the people that you have those relationships with. It's about protecting. You want the information. I want to protect them. So if I give you the name of the source, then you're not going to get information. So by demanding the name of the source, you're going to screw yourself over from ever getting information from that source again. So you gotta consider, what would you rather have, the name of the source or the stories over the years? I would rather have the relationship than to burn a bridge. And some people don't care about burning bridges and they do it every day, but I'm not going to do that. So let me be clear about that. If I say sources, they're my sources. Okay? And I'm not going to tell you the names of them because the whole point of having sources is to protect those sources. But I know people want to know all the time. And people just need to be nice in general, especially nice about that, because we can't give away the names of our sources, because anybody with a brain would realize if you did that, then you would lose your relationship with that person, and then you would lose the stories to tell, and then eventually the people complaining, wanting to know the source, would now be complaining that there's no stories, because people that complain perpetually complain about everything, and y'all need to stop being babies. So, with that being said, that's an annoying moment of the week, I guess, too, is just the populace feeling like they deserve everything. So, in not respecting people, just stop being disrespectful. It's beyond me how people are so comfortable being mean to people. It's insane. It takes more muscles in your body to frown than it does to smile. Remember that. So hypothetically with Derek Carr, if the I'm going to say it like this to answer your question, Nick, and with Marcus Mariota. If they said, screw you, I'm the starter, and walked out, then that's wrong. If the team promised him something and took it away, then that's wrong. If there was a volatile relationship in general, then that's wrong, right? I thought Derek Carr was going to be out a while ago because I didn't know if John Gruden was sold on him. So I'm surprised he's still there in general. But now with him not being there, if the Raiders have given that permission, which I'm looking at some things that have said that, they said they gave him that permission. I mean, listen, you're on a team, you're a team player. If the Raiders don't want you there, well, then how can you be there? So my thoughts on Derek leaving the Raiders, maybe it's a divorce that's on its way. I can't imagine he's going to be a member of the team next season unless they're desperate and he's desperate. I can't imagine them being together next season if he's not a part of the team right now. If you get benched, handle it like a man or a woman, right? Don't handle it like a baby. It's not fun to be benched. Nobody likes it. But the Raiders suck this year, right? Well, I shouldn't say they suck this year. They don't suck this year. They're not great, right? They're not great. They're below the standard that I was hoping for them. They're not like as bad as some other teams, but they're not great, right? And there was high expectations for the Raiders this year. I think that's the issue, right? There was such high expectations for the Raiders this year because you got Devontae Adams, you have Darren Waller, you have Josh Jacobs, who they've disrespected, in my opinion, by not signing him to a longer contract. But, so you have all these different things that have happened, right? That should have made the team better, right? You still have Josh Jacobs on your team. You still have, Darren Waller. You have Devontae Adams. You have Hunter Renfrow. Like, he has a lot of weapons. Arguably, he has the most weapons he's ever had while he's been with the Raiders. So I would expect more. And so I can understand the Raiders going, okay, you know what? It's not working. But the Raiders are still in the playoff hunt right now. I don't think people understand that. they're still in the playoff hunt. They're not eliminated yet. They're 6-9 and they're not eliminated yet. So to sit your starting quarterback, that says something going, well, we would rather ride out Jared Stidham for the next 2 weeks than you, who's been our starter for many years. So that's not a good feeling. That's not great. If Derek Carr walked away like a crybaby, then my feeling on it, Nick, is that he owes the team an apology and he owes his brothers an apology. If the Raiders and him mutually were like, hey, this isn't working out, well, then I can't fault Derek Carr, because if it was a mutual decision, it was a mutual decision. At the end of the day, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Treat others the way you want to be treated. The golden rule. What did Jesus say? If I leave you with nothing else, I leave you with this. Do unto others as you would like done unto yourself. I'm paraphrasing, but here it is, Treat other people the way you want to be treated. So do you want someone to leave you, to walk out on you, break a promise with you? No. Do you want somebody to waste your time? Do you want someone to treat you like the milk in the back of the fridge? Then don't do it to somebody else. Don't waste people's time. Don't disrespect people, and don't treat people a way that you would never want yourself to be treated or anyone you love to be treated. I think about it like this. Take me out of it. Is the way somebody treating me the way I would want them to treat my kid if I had a child, right? And I look at it, and to me, Lily is my kid, my little pup. So what I want you, I think about that. Like, let's say I had a daughter, right? And let's say I'm dating, and I'm like, you know what? The way this woman's treating me, I don't really like it. So then I take myself out of it, and I say, okay, if I had a daughter and she came home and said that her boyfriend was treating her this way, how would I react? If my thing is I would get the shotgun and go to the front doorstep, then I probably should get out of that relationship. So do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. That's my answer to your question, Nick. So if the Raiders are treating him some kind of way that they don't want to be treated, or Derek Carr did it, whatever it may be. But this whole guy, I don't like precedent. I don't like negative precedents being set, because once those negative precedents are set, everybody thinks they can do it. And we need to set good precedents. And Marcus Mariota getting benched and stepping away, and Derek Carr getting benched and stepping away, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible picture for America that has already learned that you don't have to be personally responsible for anything. And people will just hand you money and tell you that you're great. And that's ridiculous. So I think we need to have better role models, better paths set, and we need to remember that people are always watching. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll come back inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as Upstate is Downstate. Wake Up Call on the road, hashtag WakeUpCallOTR, as we broadcast live from New York City, coming off of the Pinstripe Bowl. Top Dog of the Week coming up next, and a live conversation with Antwon Bailey, who played in the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as we are here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here as Wake Up Call is on the road. Upstate is downstate. We are in New York City coming off of the Pinstripe Bowl, and in just a few moments we'll be talking with Antwon Bailey, who played in the first ever Pinstripe Bowl in the history of the Pinstripe Bowl as a member of the Syracuse Orange. And so we'll talk with him about his time as well as what he saw from the most recent game yesterday, all inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street as well. All in Syracuse, by the way. 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse with their drive-thru. Thank you to you, Nick, and a Happy New Year to you, and much appreciation, and thanks to you and your family. Would love to see you sometime soon, and just want you to know that I always appreciated growing up, being around you, and respect the heck out of you. So thank you for everything, Nick. I do appreciate it. So with that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Next up here is the top dog of the week, but I can't give you the top dog of the week without my little girl Lily's help. So here it is, her announcing the top dog of the week before I do. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Always happy to be here with you to bring you the Top Dog of the Week. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding are the two places that I would tell you to bring your dog for short and long-term care, respectively. They're both in East Syracuse. Anywhere in central and upstate New York is worth the drive for the peace of mind. Canine Camp Dog Daycare can be reached at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. The Kampground Dog Boarding can be reached at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. So make sure you call over there today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way so that you have the opportunity to have that peace of mind that we discussed. My top dog of the week for this week. Man, you know what? I got to give it up to my little brother, Nico. I don't know if he's listening right now because I know we're in the same place, but he may be sleeping. He may be awake. I'm not sure. Maybe doing some schoolwork. He's big into his classes and getting great grades, but I'm going to give it up to my little brother, Nico. He is my top dog of the week this week. He's my top dog of the week this week. Why? Because I'm proud of him. He has been working so hard and so diligently to get through school and to get his major so he can go out there into the professional world and do some incredible things and help people. He's doing great work in New York, and he's reaching out to people who people have forgotten of, right? People that don't have family that are out there helping them, or have estranged relationships, or, down on their luck, whatever's happened to these people, be it by their own or somebody else or both. It's people that have been forgotten. And as cold as it may be outside, imagine being homeless with nowhere to go. Imagine being homeless with not knowing where your meal comes from. Imagine being homeless and having nobody to talk to. So Nico's my top dog of the week because he cares about people that people walk by every day. People that nobody takes a chance to get to know, let alone forget. And that work is incredible. His almost 4.0 GPA in school is incredible. His desire to give to his work and to do his work and to get it done and to be successful with it is really something as a big brother that I am grateful for. And I look forward to the man that he continues to become and the person that he is today. He's so giving of his time and giving of his energy. And, I get to be with you here this morning in New York City because of how giving my little brother is. I could have flown in and flown out, but we got to spend time together, and now I get to broadcast from New York City. So I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful that he's alive. I'm grateful that my Aunt Donna and my Aunt Ev made the sacrifices and went through the blood, sweat, and tears to bring Nico and Miguel into our family and to give me two little brothers that I never knew that I would have. And I'm grateful and thankful that they have worked so hard and done so much, and I love them both tremendously. And today, with no disrespect to Miguel or any of my brothers out there overall, I want to honor Nico today because I feel like, he works hard, he does his thing, and he's worked really, really hard in school to get to where he is, to get good grades. He's worked very hard in his life to get this far in college. And I just want him to know that his big brother loves him so much. I'm so proud of him. I'm so grateful for him in my life. And Grandma and Grandpa would be incredibly proud. And from heaven watching down, I can only imagine that they are smiling with some happy tears that they're brushing off of their face right now. So I know Pop Cavino and G-Mama would be who he calls Gammy, would be very, very proud. I'm not going to say would be, because when somebody dies, they just... As what did Chadwick Boseman call it as the Black Panther, as T'Challa? He said it's a stepping off point. You're not dead, you're just in another place. And I know that Grandma and Grandpa up in heaven are very proud of their grandson and are cheering you on and hoping nothing but the best for you, and are incredibly excited about what you're going to do with your life and just want you to enjoy it, want you to be healthy, want you to take care of yourself in all ways, and to celebrate the moment and focus on the present and live in it, knowing that if you build a good present, you will by default have a good past and a bright future. So if I could give any advice from Grandma and Grandpa to my little brother Nico as we celebrate him as the top dog of the week this week, Grandpa would smile and tell you to be yourself and be proud. Be a man that if you had a daughter, you would want her to date, that you would want her to be with. Be the man that you can look at in the mirror. And Grandma would say, keep your nose clean, be a good boy, and don't worry about what other people think about you. She would say piss on them. So I know she would say that, but she would tell you to be a good boy, keep your nose clean, and remember to always pray to God. So that's my best advice from two of the best people that I will ever know, and that I hope to see someday when I'm 100-something years old and I get to go back home. So with that being said, the top dog of the week this week is proudly, without question, and very happily, my little brother Nico. Proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. I love you, brother. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and when we come back, we'll round out today's show from inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. Wake Up Call is on the road. Upstate is downstate. Ruh-roh. So Wake Up Call down here in New York City, wearing my upstate gear and my 315 hat that I have with me as well, rocking all of that from Witty Wicks. Head to Witty Wicks now to support upstate and central New York and your towns and your cities. If you want to show people you love local and you want to put it out there and wear it on your chest and wear it on your head and wear it all over the place, well, you can do that by going and getting your gear and all of your signs for your house and so many other things at Witty Wicks. Go to wittywicks.com and 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, to Witty Wicks on-site on location, so you can get that gear and bring it home today. I got a bunch of upstate stuff and 315 stuff. I bought a lot. I bought a lot because I love my hometown. You know, I know that I've always been about upstate and central New York. So Witty Wicks getting these clothing lines in and getting these signs for the house, it was like they listened to my prayers and then just handed that, you know, it was like they were like, oh God, what did he say? All right, well, let's bring him in. So they were like prayers answered. So I put my money where my mouth is. If you support Central and Upstate New York, go support a wonderful Central and Upstate New York company in Witty Wicks. Go to wittywicks.com for those of you out of town. And for those of you in town, go to 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, so that you can bring upstate, downstate, and wherever else you go. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with Antwon Bailey, one of my favorite Syracuse players in history. Love my Syracuse guys of this football team, the history of this football team. Everybody's welcome on the show, and I just appreciate all the good people that I get to talk to. So coming up in just a second, after this wonderful fast break from our great partners in Central and Upstate New York, you're going to hear from my guy, Antwon Bailey, right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway. PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as Wake Up Call is on the road. We use the hashtag WakeUpCallOTR as we are on the road in New York City this morning. Upstate is downstate. That's right, baby. I'm bringing the best feels of Central and Upstate New York here to downstate in New York City this morning as we round out 2022. And I'm so happy to say this, and I don't even think he knows this, but my last interview of 2022 on Wake Up Call in our normally scheduled Monday through Friday 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. slot is going to be Antwon Bailey. So he is the last Wake Up Call live conversation of 2022 in our normal time slot here in the morning. And so with that being said, I bring in my friend and former Syracuse running back, Antwon Bailey. Antwon, what do you think about the fact that you are the final interview of 2022?
I'm honored, man. I appreciate you having me, and I'm glad to be in the slot. I appreciate it, Dan.
Absolutely, and happy to have Antwon Bailey here. Antwon was a part of not only Syracuse football history, but of the Pinstripe Bowl history. Antwon Bailey was in the first time that Syracuse went to the Pinstripe Bowl, which also was the first ever Pinstripe Bowl itself. In 2010, the Pinstripe Bowl came into fruition and was added to the bowl games in the postseason of Division I-A college football, and Syracuse and Kansas State were the first two teams invited in. I wore that hat as I flew in yesterday for the Pinstripe Bowl. And so, Antwon, bring me back to 2010, being a part of the original Pinstripe Bowl. Syracuse got the victory 36-34. Would love to get your thoughts as you reminisce on that game that happened 12 years ago.
Right. 12 years ago. Goodness, I'm getting old first. I guess that's what that says. But it was an amazing time, with us making it to, first off, just making it, being bowl eligible, it was huge at that time considering where the program had been. And then the year that we had, and being able to be out there with my brothers was an amazing feel. Being in New York City and being being New York's college team and being there, and being able to play in the Yankee Stadium is a you know, a memorable experience, and you know, one that I'll have and cherish forever, man. But it was absolutely amazing. You know, as cold as it was snow out there, but none of that mattered at all because we had that opportunity to go out there as a team one last time and put a statement on our year.
Yeah, you know, and when you look back at that, you and I were talking about off the air the opt-outs, and I said, you know, I couldn't picture you or DeLon Carter opting out of the Pinstripe Bowl in 2010. I couldn't picture Jerome or Prince Tyson Gully opting out in 2012. Yet, I mean, that's, you know, now all this time later, it's a normalcy of any position, quarterbacks, running backs, cornerbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, you know, whether they're in the transfer portal or they're going to the NFL, I mean, a bunch of these guys, I mean, in the case of Deuce Chestnut and, you know, some of the offensive alignment and Josh Huff, a backup running back, and a bunch of the receivers, they're not even on the team anymore. So, I mean, your take on that, because you and I were talking, like I said, off the air about I couldn't picture getting news coming across. I couldn't picture like you or DeLon or Jerome or Prince pulling me aside going, hey, Dan, just so you know, I'm going to sit out this bowl game. I can't even fathom that conversation happening, so I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, man, it's you know, times are different. I think one of the things that I think for us, you know, and specifically just speaking about that running back room, like we were a pretty tight group, you know, and we pushed one another, we held one another to a standard, we held each other accountable. Like I don't think we would have been able to, you know, to look at those guys in that room and tell them that, you know, that I'm not gonna go, you know, or even be able to have that type of conversation, you know, because of how tight we are, because of how much work we put in, you know, because how we push each other is and you know, just once you make it outside of that room, some of my best friends to this day, you know, are on that team. You know, so having that conversation with my roommates, you know, Andrew Tiller, Chandler Jones, you know, we put a lot of work into that thing, and to not finish it off, it would have been weird.
Yeah, I mean, you start what you finish, and getting to a bowl game, you know, to some people it means something, to other people it's whatever. Do you think the college football playoff has done a disservice to the other bowls by making them less important? I mean, how do you view it in that respect? Do you think that it's just a different world that we live in the sense of more selfishness and people being about themselves? Is it the NFL being different? Is it the college football playoff? What do you assess as to why, you know, people don't find the value in playing in the bowl game like they used to?
Well, I think it's a few things. You know, it's a big melting pot, you know, because you have you have the NFL for sure, but that's always been there. But now you have the added fact of the transfer portal, you know, so those kids want to be healthy when they enter in that transfer portal. You have the fact that college is technically a business now. You know, kids, these guys can get paid. So that's another aspect, you know, which is adding into that transfer portal, you know, because if I'm looking to transfer, you know, I want to be as healthy as possible. I want to be able to maximize, you know, everything in that aspect of things. And then you get then the college football playoffs, you know, where it's for a good amount of college football, it's, you know, the playoffs are bust. You know, if I'm not in the playoffs, I'm gonna go get ready for the NFL where it's all time together. You know, so I think there's a big mix of a lot going on there for sure.
What would you, if you were Dino, what would you have said to Sean Tucker, if we just stay in the running back room, because I appreciate Sean, and I'll say this a million times over, it was his decision, and I'm cool with it. I missed him like crazy in the game, though, yesterday, and to see Muhammad Ibrahim play in the game, I mean, here's a guy that's 6 years in. He's played a ton of time, right? And as a sixth-year player, which Sean is in his third year, I mean, you got Muhammad playing double the amount of time in college, which the NFL might tell you would work against you because there's already more wear and tear on your body. He's carried the ball over 300 times this season, yet he played in the game and Sean didn't. And it was Sean's decision, and I respect Sean and I respect his decision, and everybody's got to make decisions that they can live with in their lives. If I was Sean, would have played. He decided not to play, but I want to preface that, I mean, it was his decision and I respect it. If you were Dino Babers and Sean came to you and said, or if you were just you, I mean, you look at you played, DeLon played, Jerome played, Prince played, so Sean was the next one to carry that torch. If Sean called you up and said, hey, Antwon, I know you played in the bowl game, but I don't think I'm gonna, what would you have said?
So I would have first asked him, why? What's your reasoning for sure? I think it is. Look, I mean, like you said, that is a decision for him to make. So I definitely wouldn't have tried to make the decision for him. But I would have definitely outlined everything that I felt as far as finishing with your team, as far as having another opportunity to put something on tape for the NFL, for the scouts, and for putting a statement on your career. But I would also listen to everything he had to say on why he wouldn't have played, and I don't know where he is right now. I don't know where he is health-wise, because that could have played a factor in. I don't know where he is mentally. I'm sure that has to play a factor. But definitely gathering everything, letting him know what I felt, but also listening to everything he had to say so he can make an informed decision for sure.
Yeah, and then to reflect back on it, Antwon, you were teammates with the last Syracuse running back to have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons when DeLon Carter did it in 2009 and 2010. That hadn't happened at Syracuse until Sean Tucker did it in 2021 and here in 2022. So what do you want to say to Sean Tucker overall about what he's done? He's third all-time in career rushing yards at Syracuse behind only Joe Morris and Walter Reyes. He passed DeLon Carter to become number 3. He tied DeLon Carter in being a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. He was able to bring that to Syracuse. So he connects directly back to your time at Syracuse, to one of your teammates in the backfield in DeLon. So what are your thoughts on Sean Tucker making history, being in the top 3 all-time at running back and career rushing yards at Syracuse, and being the first back to get back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons since 2009, 2010?
Well, first I want to say I'm proud of him, and he made some history up at Syracuse, and carried that running back torch. So it's impressive what he's done over these 3 years, and like I said, very impressive what he's done over these 3 years. Proud of what he's done. We have that Syracuse running back connection, but also he's from Maryland, like I am, so that's having that connection as well. But just proud of everything he's done, and looking forward to what he'll do at the next level.
And coming here from Antwon Bailey here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we broadcast live upstate as downstate as we are here in New York City. We talked about reflecting on that 2010 Pinstripe Bowl. I spoke with the Yankees president yesterday going into the game, Antwon, and Randy Levine. I asked him why have this connection, why do the Yankees care so much about college football, and he spoke about George Steinbrenner just having a love for college football and coaching and a passion for that. And so to know that you're a part of history, and that when the Yankees decided to put together this Pinstripe Bowl and have it in their stadium, what does that mean to you, that you will always be etched in the history of the Yankees going into another avenue, reaching out to another space. And when they reached out to that space and they created that history, that you and Syracuse will always be a part of the moment the Yankees said, we're going to create a bowl game, we're going to have it here in our stadium.
It's amazing, these are moments that'll be etched in history forever. Something that no one can take away. And once again, just an honor for having myself and that entire team. We were able to be in that first game and win that first game, and that's something nobody can ever take away from us.
And Jerome, I had Jerome Smith, as I said, on the show here recently, and when I spoke with Jerome, he said, I looked up to those guys. I looked up to Antwon Bailey and DeLon, like him and Prince both did, and he said, our job was to be better than them. Our job was, once they passed the torch, was to do better. Did they succeed? What are your thoughts on Jerome Smith and Prince Tyson Galley? I got to ask you.
One, that is hilarious. Because listen, I gotta hear this constantly, right? So we started out. So I'll say my junior year, right, when Coach Wheatley came in, it was just stating that the state of the running back room and building that chemistry and everything that was involved in it. I think that's where my kind of coaching career started off. Coach Wheatley tasked me with kind of making sure that the next group of guys were ready. So just teaching them the ins and outs of a lot of things. I'll say starting there. But the other part of them succeeding, I don't know. They did well. They did a great job. I'll say that. Things were a little different, right? You kind of comparing apples to oranges. Where they were, they had the high tempo offense, and NASA was throwing it all over the place. Whereas DeLon and I, we were grinding it out. We were playing against 8-9 man boxes on a weekly basis. So a little different, but they definitely did their thing. I'm proud of those guys.
Antwon Bailey, Syracuse Orange running back alum here on the show. I knew that you weren't going to give me a definitive answer, Antwon, and I understand and I respect that, because how can you say that they were better than you and DeLon, but you also want to respect your little brothers? To have you all in a running back room at the same time, though, I mean, we look at the 2010 Pinstripe Bowl, the 2012 Pinstripe Bowl, and, we got to see you and DeLon 2010, Jerome and Prince 2012. Amazing moments at Yankee Stadium, both victories and everything in between of what Jerome did, what Prince did, what you did, and DeLon. And I want to credit you. As I said, DeLon was a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher at Syracuse from 2009 to 2010. In 2011, you got your 1,000 yards, 1,051 on 240 attempts, 4.4 yards a carry. You also caught the ball out of the backfield like crazy, especially in 3 out of 4 seasons. Over 700 yards receiving at Syracuse, almost 100 receptions, carried the ball over 450 times, over 2,100 yards, just shy of 3,000 all-purpose yards. So as much as I give love to those around you, Mr. Bailey, I would love to congratulate you, thank you, and applaud you for averaging just shy of 5 yards a carry in your career at Syracuse, as well as being a 2,000-plus yard back and having almost 3,000 all-purpose yards, including 92 receptions. So let's show you some love for that. I appreciate those numbers very much so.
Thank you, Dan. That's appreciate you a lot. Appreciate you giving me my flowers, man. That's huge.
Yeah, well, you deserve those flowers, man. You did some hard work. So I want to go back to the running back room with you guys, and to go back to when you, Prince, Antwon, you, DeLon, so the 4 of you together, Antwon, you, DeLon, Prince, and Jerome, all in the same room. What was that like? I want to know about personalities, how people pushed each other. I want to really get a feel for this, because the cool thing about what you and DeLon got to experience is that as you pass the torch, you weren't just passing the torch in passing in recruitment and saying, oh, okay, here, guys, thanks for coming on to the team. Here you go. Have a great time. You actually got to spend time with Jerome, spend time with Prince. You got to influence them and really sit and get to know who they were as people and rub off on them a bit. So what was it like to be in a room, the four of you? And give me some of those maybe special moments that you remember.
For sure. We had an interesting group of guys, us four, but you also have Adam Harris, Tom Kosi, you have Clay Cleveland, you have and then the next year Stephen A comes. But it's a full group, and personalities that are everywhere. Also, so that my junior year when we have the full group together, those guys were freshmen. They were trying to find their way. Those guys are freshmen. Tom Kosi comes in, that's his first year. Adam Harris flips over from defense. So it's really there's a lot going on there, and guys trying to find their way. I'm trying to put a stamp on my role in the offense too. So there was a lot happening there. That room was very competitive. I'll say that, very, very competitive in every way. So on the field, on the board, because one of the things that was gonna happen in that room is you were definitely gonna get on the board. And you were definitely going to have to talk about some what's going on in film. So at any moment you could be in that hot seat. So you had to be ready, and you had to know what was going on. And then with being a special position like running back, different than most positions. Most of the time, there's only one of you guys on the field, and that's why I knew I had to bring something more to the table, so I could have more opportunities, because there's only usually just one of those guys on the field at all times. But those personalities, those different personalities, kind of made us who we were as a room. Whereas that year, DeLon being in his senior year, he was focused on making that stamp and getting ready for that next level. You got Jerome and Tyson who were competing and trying to find their way and trying not to drown. And then you have myself trying to put my stamp on the offense as well.
Antwon, it was a room of men. I think when I look back on it and I see that room that you mentioned, it was a room of men. It was a room of, like you said, guys trying not to drown. Like, you could get lost. I mean, you could be asked Tyrone Wheatley can ask you a question in one of the film sessions, you didn't know it, and bam, you're down that depth chart. You're on the hit list. You're on that hit list right now. I mean, there's something to be said about when we reflect on this, and I don't think people always look back on this and say, like, some of the best fullbacks, and then, I mean, running back wise, you by yourself were good. DeLon by himself was good. Jerome by himself was good. Prince by himself was good. I mean, Prince was checked down. He was a guy that Ryan could always look to. So, I mean, to put it simply, with a lot of weight to what I'm saying, it was a room of men is really what I get when you're talking about it.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. A group of men who were going to push one another. We're going to hold each other accountable. But we had a great level of respect, and we pushed the Cuse running back culture forward for sure.
Tyrone Wheatley, what do you want to say to him?
Thank you. I think he definitely changed my career and my life. Just being able to, he helped me grow as a running back, as a person, and as a coach. He was able to kind of motivate me to do different things, and took my knowledge of the game to another level, as well as allowing me to be me. You know, it's always you can always get a guy to go to another level and unlock the special in someone when you are specifically coaching them. You know, I think sometimes you get in rooms and coaches want to coach everyone the exact same way. But he did a great job of developing each and every one of us from one all the way down in a specific way that we needed to be reached.
Awesome words, huge words coming from a guy I respect, about a guy I respect, Antwon Bailey to Tyrone Wheatley. Antwon Bailey here with us on Wake Up Call as Upstate is Downstate, us coming to you from New York City as we give you our last official broadcast of 2022 in our normal scheduled slot. It doesn't mean I don't have a trick or two up my sleeve for New Year's. We'll see what happens with that. But here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios with Antwon Bailey speaking on the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, which he was a part of in 2010, all the way now to 2022, coming on the heels of the last Pinstripe Bowl that Syracuse had. Before we get into a few other pieces, Antwon, this is something that these are the tough questions that are coming to you now. We talked about the guys, we talked about DeLon a little bit, and we've spoken about, you know, your play and whatnot, Prince, as well as Steve Renee, Adam Harris, Clay Cleveland, Tom Bakose, Jerome Smith. So I would love for you to answer these hard questions, which is, who is the funniest guy in that running back room?
Oh, man. Funniest guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. Funniest, I gotta go with, I'll probably get that to Jerome.
Okay. Why?
Jerome's probably the funniest. Yeah.
Why? Was it just things that he did? Was he quick-witted, dry humor? What was it?
Quick-witted for sure.
Okay.
Definitely quick-witted.
Who is the most serious in the running back room?
DeLon.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, definitely DeLon.
Oh, why?
It was business. It was business. It was time to go to work whenever he was in the building for sure.
Okay. All right. Who would be the best wingman if y'all were going out that night?
Oh, the best wingman.
Yeah.
Best wingman in the room. I'm gonna go with I'll go with DeLon on that one.
Okay. Why? Was he just charismatic? What was it about him?
DeLon knows how to have a good time.
Okay.
He knows how to have a good time.
That is the most political way to not answer the question.
Won't be any dull moments. I'll give you that.
All right, okay. So apparently I needed to hang with you and DeLon more. So, all right, here. Who had the best snacks? Like if somebody was bringing something into the room, who was the guy that you relied on to bring some snacks in the room?
I don't remember snacks. We weren't really a snack room.
Okay. Well, who was it? Was it? Did anybody cook?
Yeah, definitely.
Who cooked?
Jerome probably is the best cook.
Okay. What was the best thing Jerome ever made?
He had a few dishes. So he was in culinary. So he had a few. He was in hospitality. Hospitality and mom. I believe his mom or aunt had some. Was a chef. So he had a few dishes.
Okay.
Jerome was nice with it.
Okay. Who would be the person that would be most likely to oversleep?
Most likely to oversleep. Now, we didn't mention him, but it would have definitely been Avery.
Okay. Avery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Avery and Collier. So even Avery Collier, but if not him, we going with Prince Tyson.
I was going to say Prince. Prince.
Yeah.
Right.
He is definitely the guy.
Okay, all right. I like that. Who is the one most likely to give an excuse?
Tom Beck.
Okay. Why?
Because there was always a reason he didn't do something. That's why.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Who do you think, besides yourself, because I know you've gotten into coaching, who do you think of everybody in that room would you send somebody to if they were a coach? Like, who would you trust to coach one of your kids?
Jerome.
Why?
Jerome's the guy.
Why Jerome?
Jerome, he knows how to reach people person, and he knows the game. Knows the game.
All right, I love that. And I love that Alan said back to dating because that's where we started the show today. So then Alan wanted to know how many yards you had, I'm guessing, in the Pinstripe Bowl. So Antwon in the Pinstripe Bowl, he had 7 carries for 50 yards, 7.1 yards a carry, 3 catches for 29 yards as well in the game. Antwon, 2022.
Nice blocks in the game.
What'd you say?
A couple nice blocks in the game.
Yes, the things that don't show up in the stat sheet. I think that Jerome might have mentioned one of your blocks that you had as well. So, you've given some love to Jerome. He's given it back to you. How about this? Could there ever be a world where you two coached on a staff together?
Definitely. I do believe that. I think it would. I think it will happen. We've had there was actually almost happened, and when they were at Morgan State, I was almost a part of that staff. Things just didn't work out how I needed them to, but I definitely think that'll happen.
What were you supposed to do there? What were you supposed to take on?
There were a few different ways that it would have been worked out. There was some talk of the running back role, talk of personnel role, but there were a few different conversations.
Okay, all right, good to know, and definitely believing it could happen for the future. I love that. Antwon, 2022 Pinstripe Bowl, we're on the heels of it. Didn't look like the Syracuse we saw in 2010 and 2012. A lot of guys, as I mentioned before, had opted out. Some guys had transferred out. Other guys getting ready for the NFL. Some guys were injured. All in all, Syracuse without both of their starting corners, their starting middle linebacker, the Mike of the defense. They were without some help from this season on the defensive line. They were without their starting running back. They, were without their starting left tackle. There was a lot of things missing in a huge way. When you reflect on this game, this 2022 Pinstripe Bowl, what did you take away from it? Positives, negatives, things to work on, just what you saw from the game against Minnesota.
Sorry, I kind of cut out.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Cut out there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
All right, good. I definitely think there were definitely some positives that came out of that. The young back who got the bulk of the load. I definitely liked the way he ran. Broke some tackles, had some explosive plays, and we definitely moved the ball on offense. So that showed up, and some different guys having to step up and make plays. That bodes well for the future. One thing I can always say about this Syracuse team is they always played very hard. So that definitely showed up. I think the turnovers for sure and finishing drives offensively, I think Clay played a huge role in the outcome of yesterday's game. Like I said, we moved the ball pretty well. We just needed to capitalize and finish.
And you mentioned LaQuint Allen, and for those that don't know, LaQuint Allen Jr., a true freshman running back on Syracuse's team, the wearer of number 20, he had more yards than Muhammad Ibrahim in the game yesterday. Muhammad had 16 carries for 71 yards, and we saw 15 carries for 94 yards for LaQuint Allen. Are you hopeful of the future with him leading the running back room as we step forward?
I am. He showed a lot. He showed a lot yesterday, and he was very impressive. He showed a lot, and he was very impressive. We got to get another guy rolling, though. definitely need more than one.
That coming from Antwon Bailey. Antwon, you get the final word. Anything you want to say from the first Pinstripe to the last Pinstripe Bowl so far for Syracuse? The history, we talked about a lot of things here today. I'm going to give you the final word. What do you got to say?
Just one, just thanks for having me. Two, I'm proud to see the resurgence of the Syracuse running backs for sure, and looking forward to the future.
And we need to call up DeLon, and we all need to go out, is what I heard from this conversation.
Sounds all right. Let's make it happen.
All right, Antwon. As always, you're welcome. I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for giving me the time. I can't thank you enough for everything you did at Syracuse, but more than that to me for becoming a friend. And, every day I'm reminded that a little kid that had a dream is now friends with the players that he grew up watching and loving. And so I can't say enough thanks to God for that. I appreciate your friendship, and a Happy New Year to you, and I can't wait to talk with you soon.
Sir, Happy New Year. Thanks for having me again, Dan. This was special.
All right, man. Take care. Be good.
You as well.
See you. That coming from Antwon Bailey one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I had a lot of fun there. I don't know why I thought Prince would be the one to be sleeping, but but I wasn't wrong. So my dude Prince, love Prince, man. Prince is one of my. Prince and I did a segment for a while last year on the show as well. Love hanging out with Prince. Prince is a cool dude. I've liked Prince for. We've gotten to do a lot of stuff together over the years. So good man, and I definitely appreciate him. That man balled the heck out the last time Syracuse was in the Pinstripe Bowl a decade ago. So, and Allen said, speaking on LeQuint Allen, he said, LeQuint Allen Jr. is a player, saw it from day one. Well, good for you, man, seeing that from day one, because, you got to be hopeful, right? Got to be hopeful, and LeQuint Allen's been truly special. I got to talk with him after the game, and I'm really excited for LeQuint, but I agree with Antwon. They need to have another guy out there to help, so hopefully they will. We never got to see Josh Huff, which is really unfortunate and sad for me. I do want to shout out my guy, Prince Tyson Gully. He had 26 carries, 213 yards, 8.2 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns in that game, rushing in the 2012 Pinstripe Bowl, receiving 5 catches for 56 yards, 11.2 yards per catch, and a touchdown. 3 touchdowns in the game for Syracuse. And cumulatively, he had in total 269 yards catching and running the ball. Insane. And 213, my grandfather, my Pop Cavino that I mentioned earlier when we honored Nico as the top dog of the week, his number's 13, my number's 21. You put it together, I see 213 a lot. Fitting that my friend and somebody that I connect with spiritually in a lot of ways, Prince Tyson Gully, 213 is what he got on the nose in that Pinstripe Bowl game, the last Pinstripe Bowl that I was at when Syracuse was here a decade ago in 2012. So big shout out to Prince Tyson Gully as well, Jerome Smith, Tom Bakose, Steve Renee, as well as Clay Cleveland, Adam Harris, DeLon Carter, my guy Antwon, who's just on the show, Antwon Bailey, Coach Tyrone Wheatley, and so on and so forth. My guy Chris Elmore, love you all and appreciate you all so very much. And, Allen, he did set a standard in the game. There's going to be big expectations for LeQuint Allen Jr., and I pray and I hope that he can meet those and exceed those. I think he can be the next really good back at Syracuse. He can really make a name for himself. I think LeQuint Allen might help you to feel a little bit better about Sean Tucker moving on. So I'm excited for LeQuint. He did some great things, broke a ton of tackles, and in a game where a lot of Syracuse players were sliding all over the field, LeQuint was staying upright, breaking tackles, pushing guys, having guys on him, continuing to run with the guy on him, and eventually break free and be able to hit contact and keep moving. He was a pinball in the game, man, and he played well, just shy of 100 yards rushing, which is something that's atypical for Syracuse backs in recent history. Sean Tucker really the only change from that. So, LeQuint getting 94 yards and outdoing Mohamed Ibrahim, who had over 4,500 yards rushing in his time at in Minnesota. To outplay him in the Pinstripe Bowl was one of those positives that, we take from it, and I'm not surprised that Antwon Bailey counted that as one of his positives as well, coming from running back history and royalty at Syracuse. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. Final step aside as Wake Up Call Upstate, Downstate. We're here in New York City broadcasting live for you this morning in our final show in our normal scheduled slot of Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Our final show of 2022. Hard to believe that. And we will be right back after this fast break, after you hear from our incredible partners to wrap up this show and get you ready for the new year.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsicuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as we are here. Hashtag WakeUpCallOTR, which stands for Wake Up Call on the road. Upstate is downstate as Wake Up Call is here in New York City after I attended the Pinstripe Bowl here at Yankee Stadium, which again, I want to thank the Yankees organization, Randy Levine, the president, the Steinbrenner family, as well as Mark Holtzman, the executive director of the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Bad Boy Mowers, and everybody involved, all the groundskeepers, everybody that worked at Yankee Stadium, Minnesota, Syracuse. I want to thank you all for your time, the presidents, the chancellors, the athletic directors, and the student athletes and coaches, PJ Fleck and his student athletes, Dino Babers and his student athletes. Many thanks to everybody, as well as, to my driver and to the pilot that got us here safe and sound and early, and to everybody. So many thanks and much love and much appreciation, and God bless you all, and a very happy new year to each and every single one of you. So with that being said, the annoying moment of the week coming to you today from Carvel DeWitt. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Coming to you from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, focusing on do unto others. The top dog of the week, my little brother Nico, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And my final conversation of 2022 in our normal scheduled broadcast slot of 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time goes to Antwon Bailey, who was a part of the first ever Pinstripe Bowl in 2010, where Syracuse won the inaugural Pinstripe Bowl game against Kansas State, a hat, like I said, that I wore coming into the city yesterday, and that being 36 for Syracuse, 34 for Kansas State, when we had the Big East versus the Big 12, and now we're seeing the ACC versus the Big 10 with Syracuse and Minnesota. So a big thanks to everybody and much appreciation. You can find Wake Up Call in the new year by going to youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /WakeUpCallDT, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can also find us on facebook.com /LiveNowDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com, the website that has everything for you. Make sure you bookmark, save, and keep forever. Subscribe for free to the website WakeUpCallDT.com. Once the shows go live, you can find a bunch of different pieces in our archive. Over 1,600 episodes are available on Podbean alone. You can go to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of these outlets. You can also ask Alexa in your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that for you as well. Big time shout out to all of our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, where I get all this Upstate and 315 gear, as I mentioned before. Go to wittywicks.com, and 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, as well as PB&J's Lunchbox, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, which Honda City of Liverpool is now becoming here in the new year, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, as well as K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, 317 at Montgomery, located in downtown Syracuse, the name of the elegant restaurant. And it's perfect for New Year's to go to 317 at Montgomery, mind you. 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. The name of the restaurant is the name of the location. 317 at Montgomery Street is located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. And, of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call. Wednesdays at 9 a.m. is Dolphin time. Every first and third Wednesday of each month, we have AD and ET with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, speaking on a bunch of different topics, including realignment and reclassification. Anything on realignment and reclassification that has to do with Lemoyne College has come through Wake Up Call first. And so if you're hearing it anywhere else, it's secondhand information. To get the firsthand information from AD Bob Beretta and the president, Dr. Linda Lemura, as well as others, you go to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you can check out the archive on the Lemoyne tab on WakeUpCallDT.com and our exclusive series covering realignment and reclassification as Lemoyne looks at either staying D2 or moving to NCAA Division I. You can also get the stories every second and fourth Wednesday of each month. On Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wake Up Call, we bring you Dolphin Dive. Dolphin Dive dives into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can get all of those stories by going to the Lemoyne tab as well on WakeUpCallDT.com. And for all of our Lemoyne content, subscribe to YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse proudly are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as well, bringing you the Bobcat Buzz every single month. We are fully in men's and women's basketball season, so that Bobcat Buzz with coaches and student athletes are coming to you all throughout the season. And before that, you had men's and women's soccer coming off of national championships and doing roundtable discussions as well as one-on-ones with their coaches and student athletes. And of course, the upcoming inaugural baseball season for the first ever baseball team at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse has also been covered in depth in the Bobcat Buzz. You can get all of these stories and more every single month by hanging out here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to watch them as they're released, and by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on WakeUpCallDT.com to get all of our shows, and by subscribing to YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT and searching Bobcat Buzz on our channel on YouTube. For more information on the Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to New York City for having me. Thank you for being incredible. To all of the wonderful people that have made this show great this year, thank you to all my Wake Up Callers, my listeners, my readers, my watchers, my guests, my incredible family, some of them blood and some of them not, to all of the wonderful people that have been with me all along this ride, to a 10-year anniversary of my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, to over 19 years broadcasting as of this past November, to the Dan Tortora Show, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Superpowered Pop, Do Diz with Dan, Comic Book Trails, and everything we've done, to the Baldwinsville Bees doing monthly opportunities with me at Pizza Man Pub, and the years that we've spent with the West Genesee Wildcats and continue to at the Wildcat Sports Pub, to Avicoli's being our mainstay for the Liverpool Warriors shows that we have done, to the CNS North Stars and CBA Brothers that have done stuff with us as well, our shows at Mother's Cupboard, our shows at PB&J's Lunchbox, the opportunities we've had to have my own Sunday and everything that's to come with that at Carvel DeWitt, to having my own menu item at Mother's Cupboard, everything we've gotten to do. 2022 has been fruitful. It has been incredible. My company is always on the rise, and that is because of a very gracious and loving God, hard work, dedication, and determination. And God put me around the right people, and I just want to thank all of the wonderful blessings that I've had from God. I want to thank all of the wonderful people. I want to thank my little dog, Lily. I want to thank my mom and my dad's birthday tomorrow, Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve. I want to thank my Uncle Carmen, who just passed. I love him tremendously. Papa Joe, Mary, Joey, Nico and Miguel, to Ross, to Isaac, just wonder, to my Marywood family, just so many wonderful, wonderful people that life would be vastly different without. To Joe, I love you all. I appreciate you all. To Rob, and happy 22, happy New Year. I got something up my sleeve for New Year's Eve. And beyond that, I love you all, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Be well. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and from the Cafe Kubal Studios, upstate being downstate here in New York City, I proudly sign off. And to the little kid that dreamt of being a broadcaster someday, well, to that kid, you just got to broadcast live from New York City. I'll talk with you soon. I love you all. God bless. No stress. Do your best. God is good. My grandparents are right here. My dogs. All my friends that passed away. I love you all tremendously. And I wouldn't be who I am without you.